Thank you. My name is Egosa Roland Omoregbe. I'm a descent of Nigeria, Edo State precisely. However, this is the first time I'm entering into this murky water of social media. I've never posted any video on social media before. I pray that God will lead me through this program. The decision to come into this murky water was not an easy one because I have been seeing how things are going in the society we live in. How do I contribute my own little sphere in the development of the human race or society we live in? I've seen and watched how humans have been led and misled. I identified major factor of the misleading as insights, knowledge, lack of knowledge. One cannot be misled if one is adequately informed. Hence, I had it in my spirit, in my being, that this area of human endeavor need to be tackled. That is what brought me to the title of this program, which is going to be a series. And I believe by the special grace of God, I will be handling this area of human endeavor, knowledge. The program is insight. Knowledge is insight. Hence, I crystallized this program to be Egbosa Insight. You will have a look of things before you start this kind of program. I draw my inspiration from the book of the Bible, the book of Psalm, chapter 127, which says, "Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders build in vain. May we not build in vain. May our endeavors in contribution to human race never be in vain." So it is on that note, all I will do will be guided by these principles. Putting God first, putting the will of God first in my quest for knowledge, for insight, on how I can also transmit this knowledge to others so that it will be beneficial to the society we live in. We know that social media is a very influential means of communication. It is great. No one will argue against the effectiveness of social media in carrying out a vision or in promoting a concept. It is very effective too. However, when not adequately controlled, the intent and the content can be misleading and can be lost. So I pray God will grant me the will, the wisdom to stay in tune with the content and intent of this program. So if I may say now, what is insight? As I said, it is knowledge. If you look at the book of the Bible, the Google, what Google says about knowledge, it said, knowledge is facts, information, and skills acquired through experience or education, theoretical or practical understanding. Then another version says awareness or familiarity gained by experience of a fact. You see, fact is also constant in this process, or a situation. Then another definition says fact or condition of knowing something with familiarity, gained through experience and association. So this is knowledge. So then, why do we seek knowledge? The quest of knowledge, in my opinion, is for freedom. Freedom from ignorance. It is ignorance that keeps us in captivity. Nobody can be kept captive without being ignorant. Ignorance is of different forms. Captivity is also of different forms. It could be captivity of the mind and also captivity physically. Ignorance play a part in any of this captivity. To be liberated, we have to seek knowledge. So knowledge is attained through deliberate pursuit of it. Knowledge creates understanding of how things are, why things are in that form it is, what ways not to do things or to do things. It is knowledge that reveals such understanding. And that understanding creates room for practice. Once you gain knowledge, what you do, it cannot be idle. You create practice. It is that practical application of knowledge obtained or gained that brings wisdom. So wisdom is earned through knowledge application. So why am I taking us to this step by step? Because, as I said, this program is going to be a program. We are going to dive into different facets of human endeavors. To be able to gain understanding, access to these areas of human endeavor, we have to set our eye on knowledge. So whatever I will be discussing, you will be able to look, what is the knowledge to be gained? Any area I feel I don't have any knowledge to expose, I will not delve into it. What are lessons to be gained? That is going to be my pursuit. And I hope in such situation, I will be able to lift up somebody out of ignorance, out of captivity, into liberation and freedom. Because wisdom is powerful, is useful, it is honorable, it is rewarding. Because if you don't have knowledge, you can't have wisdom. You see in the Bible, I refer much to the Bible in most of my things because I believe so much on the will or the rule, on the will of God, on the purpose of God in creation. Hosea chapter 4 verse 6 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because the priestly nation rejected knowledge." That means the priests of the time hide knowledge from the people, and the people will be destroyed. Which is that knowledge is very important to escape destruction and captivity. One thing you have to understand is here, are all knowledge true? Are all knowledge true? That I hope we're going to explore greater in the course of this program, because there are some knowledge that are not true. As we go in this program, we want to search for those things that are not true, verifiable by me and you. If we collaborate with ourselves, I will speak, but you have to make research and confirm, verify my discussion. I wouldn't say teaching, but I will say my discussion. So this program is not about teaching, but it's going to be about discourse, which is subject to others to verify, to have an insight into it. In my own opinion, knowledge is in three categories. We have intellectual knowledge, which is a product of the brain, which is the source or reasons why most people go to school. to acquire intellectual capacity. The cognitive aspect of our brain, of our thinking. That's why most of us go to school, to acquire it. Then what we call creative knowledge, which is about crafts. For me, I strongly believe that the Almighty God is a craftsman. He's the master craftsman. Nothing he does that was not created with an awesome creativity. And I see, from my understanding, the next part is called mental, the third aspect of knowledge, mental or mind or philosophical knowledge. The creative knowledge and the intellectual knowledge, I consider them as individual pursuits. Individual pursue creativity, pursue intellectual capacity, prowess. Why do we pursue it? One, we want honor. Two, we want to gain financial freedom. We want to earn financially. That's why we pursue creativity and our intellectual pursuits. And this is to what we call productivity, to produce, to develop us as human. That is pursuits. That is two categories where the majority of all humans strive in: intellectual, creativity. And these are just part of the human crave. And it is this that is causing different havoc and different blessings on earth today. The pursuit of creativity and the pursuit of intellectual capability. Because we want to dominate each other by our creative minds, by our intellectual mind. However, as man continue to pursue that personalized area for our immediate benefit, we forsake another area, which to me is the most essential: the mental knowledge, the mind knowledge, the philosophical knowledge. Because the mind is the engine, the seat of reasoning for humans. If our seat of reasoning is not well cultivated, no matter our intellectual capacity, our creative capacity, they will be subjugated by those who control the mind. Do we wonder then why God is interested in our mind? Because he knows the mind is the center of reasoning. It is the center of directing things. And once the mind is captured, your intellectual and your creative something is also captured. So let us look. What is philosophy? It is the search for meaning, for greater understanding, for answers to the questions surrounding our existence, our purpose, and the universe itself. That is the essence of philosophy. Because it is search. Because there are many things in mystery about the universe, about our existence. There are things biologically explain to us how we came to existence, but there are a lot of things that we don't really understand too. So, which means major part of our understanding, our existence, is in the mind. It's in the mind. So it is that mind God is interested in. And that's what makes us a human being. Because if you look at the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse 6, say, "My son, give me your heart, and let your eyes observe and delight in my ways." Say, give me your heart. No, when the Bible uses heart, it's talking about the mind. The heart the Bible talks about is not the heart that pumps the blood. No, it is the mind. Your seat of reasoning, your seat of understanding. That's what God is interested in. So if you give it to me, what say will say? Your eyes will observe and delight in my ways, because he knows when your mind is in his hand, you will appreciate him. You will see reasoning for his will and purposes. However, the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. You see, God is interested in our mind. It is center of reasoning. It is center of impulse. It is center of decision making. It's not interested in our creativity. It's not interested in our intellect. Because he knows when he controls our mind, when we have our mind, when we keep our mind with him, we are safe. We will be able to do his biddings. We will be able to do his will. Because he says, do not lean on your understanding. What understanding we get from intellectual readings. We shouldn't lean on it. We shouldn't rely on that. Let our mind be with him. So see, mind is very powerful. See, God chooses that area of our knowledge, the mind, the knowledge of the mind. How about the government of the day? You see that government of the day, they have programs. We hear about governmental propaganda. What is the propaganda? It is a deliberate bias information dissemination. When government want to control people, they see them, they have what the propaganda. That is why we call it propaganda. That's propaganda. Because people identify that government has started in, they are very good in it. Sometimes it's very subtle. You wouldn't know. They are pushing you to a certain area through their propaganda. It's control your mind. You do their biddings. Sometimes it's very aggressive propaganda to change your mind. So that means government controls all we do today, whether we like it or not. Politics. God controls it. So you see that God, which is spiritual, he wants our mind because he's interested, because he's a spiritual being. He knows when we control our mind, he will be able to control our spirituality. But the government knows that if you control our mind, they're able to control our physical activities. No wonder you see even the churches today, different religion, whether Islam, Buddhist, what are all they after? It is the mind game. So my dear listeners, let us focus attention on the mind. How do we educate? How do we gain mind knowledge? Because the accurate knowledge of the mind, it is vital than intellectual and creative knowledge. They are all important, but let us stop neglecting the mind knowledge. So let us stop neglecting education of the mind. Let us pay strong attention on getting insight of the mind. Where does hate come from? It is from the mind. Where does racism come from? It's from the mind. Where does tribalism come from? It's from the mind. Then when we start talking about love from the mind, see to it, it is when you understand the knowledge of the mind, then you'll not be ignorant. So when somebody is dishing out racist terminology or information, because your mind is well refined, is well educated, you know how to mitigate it. If somebody is coming some religious things that you know that will lead to doom, if your mind is educated, you're able to get against that. These are religious perverts. And when society is cohesive, it is the mind. When society go to war, it is the mind. So it is important. We're going to pay attention on the mind and intellectual being and the creative being. So as we go on this program, we'll be talking on how to pay attention to drive the mind towards fulfilling the right purpose of its creator. Thank you and welcome you to the second part of this program. God bless you.